Hello and welcome to the garden. In today's episode, I'm going to take you along as I do a little bit of summer sowing. I'm going to be sowing some basil. It's that time of the year where you can sow more basil, and so basil I will be sowing. Here is one of my tomato pots, and I'm just going to be sprinkling some basil seeds randomly in this pot. I did try to grow some basil seeds before in this pot, but for some reason they did not come up. So I'm just going to sprinkle just a few and see if these are viable seeds. Now that I've placed my seeds, I'm just going to go ahead on and smush the soil a little bit just to let them drop under the soil just a tiny bit. These are tiny seeds, so they don't need to be buried too deeply. And once I finish doing this, I will give it a nice drink of water, because once you water your seeds, that is their indicator that they need to start growing. This is a dwarf marigold that my sister gave me. She grew from seed. I'm trying to see if it's going to grow up and decide to be a big boy and give me a flower. Here is another one of my tomato plants. This is a very large pot. It's got about 3 or so plants in here. I'm looking to see if I have any basil in here. I do have one tiny plant. I did actually sow some seeds. I think the sun was blocked out from this particular pot because of the growth of the tomato. So these seeds didn't germinate, and I only had one plant that actually grew. So I'm just placing some seeds in some areas where I know there's bare soil and the sun is poking through, so that I can have some basil in this pot as well. Not only do I have tomatoes in this pot, I also have 2 okra at the very front of this pot. So I am going to have to stake up this tomato. It's actually fallen over due to its weight of the fruit, as well as the wind and the rain has kind of beaten it down. And as I lift it up, I realized there are some leaves, dead leaves and debris on top of the soil. So I'm just cleaning that off. You want to make sure that there aren't any dead or dying leaves on your plant, because that will bring in pest and disease. And that's the last thing I want with this tomato. This is going to be one of my Roma tomatoes, and I'm hoping to get a harvest this year so I can make some tomato sauce, or I don't know, tomato soup out of these tomatoes. So as I'm poking around, cleaning out from up under this plant, I notice I have a baby Swiss chard under here. So I'm actually going to be pulling that out later on. You guys won't see that because it's actually gotten pretty eaten up by something. So I'm going to pull it out and give it its own little pot, and hopefully it will bounce back. But I had a lot of dead debris under here, so I just really need to get this cleaned out. So I'm going to stake this tomato up and give this a chance to breathe, as well as give these basil seeds a chance to grow. So here you see I've already staked up this tomato plant, and I will be sowing seeds here so that I can have some basil growing in this area. I want to have basil to where I can make enough pesto to last me throughout the winter. I love pesto. So I'm going to spread the rest of these seeds in the hopes that I'll get basil. Now that the seeds have been sown, I'm just going to give this soil a little mush over so that the seeds can drop down in the soil just a little bit. That way they have a little bit of dirt coverage and they'll be more apt to grow. And as soon as I do that, I will give it a little water in, and that will be it for this pot of tomato and basil. I'm going to have to think of another solution for staking this tomato up because it has fallen over a little bit. I actually just used a piece of twine and a stick. Now that I've propped up my tomato plant, I can see that there's still a few areas in here where I have some death the leaves are dying or they've died. So I need to clean that up. I want to make sure that there's enough airflow through this plant to where the tomatoes can grow, as well as I can see if there are any pests, since I did have some pest damage up under the tomato, not on the tomato. So here I'm just going through and cutting off those limbs that are not going to bear fruit and are looking pretty gnarly. So it's time for them to go. This way I have the healthiest plant I can possibly have. Right here, I'm showing you that this plant is still putting on flowers. I don't believe that it's putting on any fruit. I believe it's just kind of waiting until the weather drops down in temperature. There's still some more flowers here at the top. So this does have flowers on it. It also has fruit up under the plant that you cannot see. So it is productive, but I think it's in a stall pattern because it is so very hot. That's all I have to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed this video as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Bye for now.